Hello.
Paranormal Pixies, Blade,
Rhonda.
Coco.
In my Avon. Rolling.
And
Okay. Yeah. In
Bone Daddy back
my
there.
Avon shirt. Woohoo.
She was out doing her Avon thing.
Yeah, it was
While
crazy.
I myself was recuperating.
Let me see if I can get this a little better.
Sure.
It started
Because
so.
we're starting to be talking heads again.
See, now it keeps moving. This makes me crazy.
Ow. Stop, Coco.
Let's try right there. It doesn't look like it's moving. Okay, I think
Okay.
we're good.
Ooh, yay!
If it tips over, I apologize in advance.
Right. Okay, so we're going to talk about magic in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because since we talked about voodoo as a religion, and we did mention that there's magic involved, and there was some things I wanted to kind of hit on that I really didn't get to last time, which most people think is strictly voodoo, but actually it has a long history.
Yeah.
In magic beliefs and practices.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought this would be a good thing to talk about.
Okay.
So, like, what do you understand magic to be?
Mostly intent.
Okay.
Like when I do spell work, you have to be very specific when you're asking for something. Or you're
careful
trying
what
to,
you wish for. You just might get it.
Yeah, you have to be very, very specific.
Right.
But it's mostly the intent of whatever, I don't know, how would you explain it? Like say I'm trying to get a new job. My intention is to get that job.
Right.
So if I put that intention into whatever spell work that I'm doing to, I don't know, align the stars or whatever to make it
You're evoking the powers that be.
Right. I'm putting it out to the universe that I need this job. I want this particular job. And yeah, so it's intent.
It's in your fur. But okay, so yes, that is a large part. So in my notes, I went through this. There's a book I've mentioned before. Please tell me I put a little sticky note next to it. Of course not. I have a huge thing on magic.
What's the cover look like?
Do
you remember?
Yes, and we do have a sticky note on it.
Hey, all right.
No, it's a book that most people are not going to read.
Okay.
It is by Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Golden Bough.
I've never even heard of that.
It's mostly his talk about the ritual of the killing of the king.
Okay.
And the rise of the mother.
Okay.
So the white goddess and stuff like that. But he does talk about...
I just bonked him on the nose.
The differences... Okay, that just doesn't look right. Maybe I didn't put it on there. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, okay, well, I'll go through. Because it's talking about the origins and stuff. Mm-hmm. In Fraser's Golden Bough, he talks about sympathetic magic versus what we know as the theoretical magic.
Okay.
When you're looking at that theo magic, that is more of the higher magic. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sympathetic magic comes into two things. There's homeopathic and contagion.
Okay.
Voodoo. We'll talk about the contagion. Mixes contagion and homeopathic. Mm-hmm. Like attracts like is homeopathic.
Right.
Okay. So if I draw, one of the funny things we used to do in archaeology, actually, which I thought this was hilarious, that archaeologists would do this.
Yeah.
So as a contract archaeologist, sometimes we are so tired of working 8 to 10 hours a day digging and walking, and you get tired. And by the 5th day, you really don't want to move. And if it looks like it's going to rain, or even seems like it might rain, one of the things, and this is the homeopathic, that we archaeologists as scientists would do, is we would literally take a stick, draw a fish or a turtle in the dirt,
Okay.
draw a circle around it, and spit on it as a form to bring in rain.
Yeah.
These are grown adults,
Mm-hmm.
college graduates.
Well, you know,
Okay.
But
that's the homeopathic. Like draws like. This is a water creature. We're trying to pull rain down.
Yeah.
We want water to come to water from the sky.
Yeah.
So this is why we're spitting on it. And the more you get onto that fish or that turtle, the better.
Yeah.
Now
see, that's like when I worked at the nursing home years ago. And this is something I probably shouldn't say, but when somebody is on the verge of passing, the people that work at night will sometimes, or well, I should say sometimes the people that work, well, pretty much any time, if they don't want that person to pass away, they'll tie a knot in the bottom of their bed sheet.
Right.
And that's supposed to keep them from passing.
Right. It's tying them down.
Yeah.
It's keeping their spirit tied to them.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's homeopathic.
So that they don't have to deal with the person passing
away,
and
right?
Honestly, you know, I don't blame them because
right,
you know,
it does take a lot, and especially if you've gotten close to that patient and stuff, they don't want to have to deal with that part,
right?
And then contacting the family and all that.
Yeah.
So that's homeopathic. Like draws like. Well, there is a specific item in voodoo that has like draws like, but it also has contagion.
Okay.
And that is the voodoo doll.
Yeah.
Because they usually have some maybe nail clippings, some hair, piece of the clothing that belong to that person. So there's a connection. That's what the contagion means. It's connected. It's contiguous to that person.
And a voodoo doll is not always bad.
Okay. But let me just say this. The voodoo doll is not exclusive to voodoo.
True.
It's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Poppet. Puppet.
Yep.
Which is an old term for doll.
Mm-hmm.
Dolls themselves, through the ages, have been used for numerous things.
Yeah.
Clay figures with blood put in it have been used in prehistoric times.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been an item that has been with us as long as us has been around.
Yep.
So, I mean, you even if it isn't a physically three-dimensional item, you go to the caves in France where they have all the artwork in there, and you see people's handprints.
Yeah.
Now, I thought it was funny because somebody I used to work with, he's now an art teacher. I knew him when he was 16 years old, and I'm amazed. He's grown up to be an adult.
Huh. That's not Brian, is it?
No,
Okay.
no. This is when I worked at the Sporting Goods. This is
Okay.
Aaron.
Okay.
Sweetheart. Him and his buddy, his bestest friend, they both went to Xavier together. But we worked together at a sporting goods store, and they actually told me that I was an adult and I shouldn't be, an instigator. I was like, well, yeah, I am what I am.
An adult? Really? Where?
I know. You're the grown up. You're the grown up. You shouldn't be an instigator. That is exactly what I was told.
There are no adults here. What are you
I
talking
was like,
about?
yeah, I was in my 30s. They were in 16, but they were fun to hang around
You're
with.
in your 30s. You're not an adult. I'm not even an adult now.
No.
No.
You saw that meme I did of, I've done my free trial of being an adult, and I'd like to, cancel my membership.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not adulting anymore.
Right.
Nope.
I don't want to do this anymore.
We'll be over here in our pillow fort.
Right, exactly. By the tree house.
Yep.
So, anyway,
Growing up is an option.
I was sitting in his class, and he was talking about those handprints.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, art historians don't know what they're really for. I didn't want to say anything. It's his class. I decided I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay.
I don't think he remembered that I myself was an archaeologist. Because that's what I was before I started working there.
Right.
And I actually went back. But, Coco, I love you too. Come on. We kind of have an idea what they were for. So the handprints in these caves are really far back. This is nowhere. This isn't a dwelling place.
Right.
This is way back, crawling through little tunnels and stuff into these caverns that open up. And there's it's pitch black back there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's all these handprints, and they're either the whole hand or they're an outline of a hand. And what they were is they were a ritualistic way of identifying and offering to the deities for luck and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of a contagion and a homeopathic attitude of this palm print. This is me. I'm here. You know, and the gods can shine down on me. They can see me, you know, even though we're in this dark cave. And a lot of the animal drawings, they see that there are actually markings in these where they have been hit with spearheads and stuff like that. So what they've done is to do a good hunt, they will draw these animals and then they will jab them. So like does like, you know, I'm killing this animal here, so therefore I'll be able to go out and kill this animal in the field and bring food to our family.
Makes sense.
So magic has been around since as long as humanity has pretty much been sentient.
Yeah.
It's a huge part. And people who don't say that they don't perform magic, well, if you've ever gone to a church and you've prayed to a saint or to Mother Mary or to Jesus, you're evoking that God, goddess, saint, whatever. That's a part of magic.
Yeah.
That's magic. You're sending out energy into an intent. And that's what magic really is.
Yep.
So it's been around forever.
Yep. Well, and like we said before, at one point, the entire world was pagan. Pretty much.
Well, it depends on what your definition of pagan really is. Pagani were barbarians of the field. They were the heathens, the people who lived in the heathers. And actually, my German name means heather kraut.
Okay.
Yes. Well, it's a type of plant. It really is. And we actually grow it here in the United States, too.
Okay.
It's a really pretty little plant, but, you know.
Yeah.
My name means meadow in German.
Okay.
And that plant is a heather kraut. Yes. So, yes.
But, well, what I mean by pagan, as far as the whole world, before, like, the monotheistic religion, like Christianity, something like that, didn't most people have multiple gods and that they prayed to?
They're polytheism, yes. Yeah. Yes. Polytheism was, but that's, to me, that's different than paganism.
True.
Polytheism is where there's more than one deity involved, versus the duotheism, which you get in the Mithraism and Zoroastrianism, which you have, and actually our Christianity has literally developed into a duotheism, because you have the good, God, and you have the bad, Satan.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's good versus evil in those, in the duo. Mono is like Judaism. So you have like Yahweh in Judaism. So that's a single deity.
Or Muhammad.
Aman. Aman in the Egyptian when Amenhotep developed his monotheistic.
I have the mummy going to my head now.
Right. had developed the monotheistic deity of Amun for Egypt and pushed all the other ones out. Of course, people didn't like that. That's why they pretty much totally, as soon as Tutankhamun came into power, which was King Tut, his dad, decided to make everything one god.
Ra.
When
the sun
well,
god.
actually, Ra, it's Amun.
Okay.
It wasn't
I know it
Ra.
was the sun god.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he represented the sun, yes, and had little hands coming down and everything. But Ra was the old Egyptian sun god. So, they just, it was a bad time for them in Egypt because, as soon as Tut got into power, he reverted it back to the polytheistic attitude.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what they are is like we discovered in the Haitian voodoo, is you get groups of people coming in and they're finding, well, this god and this god do the same thing. So they kind of combine the names a little bit, and it was kind of the same way there. And it was that way with the Celts and Scythians and those. So even in Africa, when you got tribes moving in the same area, they'll start sharing deities. So polytheism was a very large part of humanity for a long, long, long time.
Right.
Now, right now, what we have is the five great, which is, of course, you have Christianity.
Yeah.
You have Judaism. You have Islam.
Yeah.
You have Hinduism, and you have Buddhism.
Right.
Those are the five big ones. Now, this last one, although there are deities involved, and it is exactly with these areas have pulled these deities into it, but Buddhism originally was a non-theistic religion. It's more how to develop yourself to
more of a philosophy kind of thing.
Right, but it became a religious movement. And as it became more and more empowered, it started pulling in local deities in those areas that it was taking hold.
Yeah.
So this is where you get Tara, which is Chinese. So you have different Taras. You have green Tara, red Tara, blue Tara, white Tara.
Yeah.
And each one, Tara is the goddess of compassion. And each one of those handles something. A compassion for the sick, compassion for the poor, compassion for the lonely. So you get these different ones. But magic itself goes beyond that. I mean, the Neanderthal didn't have really gods or goddesses.
Yeah.
They worshipped nature as a whole. And they believed in the magic, the energy that they emitted, the like versus like. They did have shamans, but these people walked between worlds. They were more animistic. So you dealt more with the natural anima of the world, the plants, the earth itself, the sky. There was no real deity involved. So humanity in its own right began as a non-theistic magic. So, anything else that you would like to talk about?
Not really. I mean, most of what I do is like eclectic stuff. I,
Right.
Use a little bit from whatever I need done, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish.
I mean, when you said you think of it as an intent, and you use it, okay? And as I've said, that's kind of like evoking, like we do with prayer. So, what I'm going to try and ask you is how do you build that energy? Because magic, no matter which method you use, whether you use homeopathic or you use contagion, or you go and you do the whole rigmarole of, well, I can only perform this energy when this planet is here and the moon is here and the star is over here and it's a Thursday in a year that ends in 7, where this planet is in retrograde. And
never get anything done.
And the angel Goobalagoo is in charge of this day. So I'm going to perform a spell now with my 9 novellas that I'm going to write. But I have to have the right candles and symbols to do all this. Okay.
The only thing that I really follow as far as like trying to get rid of stuff or bring something in is if the moon is waning or waxing.
Okay.
Like, I won't try to bring something in if it's a waning moon. That's pretty much the only thing I really follow. And
most people may not understand that. So why do you follow the moon?
Because when the moon is waning, it's getting smaller.
Right.
It's going from the full moon to the crescent moon, and that's when you're supposed to like get rid of things like old habits or whatever you want to get rid of.
But do you actually understand what the physics behind that necessity is? There's actually physics involved in magic.
I never really thought about it.
Okay, well, see, so I'll explain. The moon has a gravitational pull on this planet.
Yeah.
And the water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's what creates the tides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, they're looking at the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is following more of a Celtic tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And the Celts looked at dusk, through the darkness into the day and then to the next dusk, as that's the beginning and ending of their day. Okay, so the dark always started first. They're feeling that as darkness is pushing in, that's when you want to push things out. And as the light is bringing in, that's when you want to bring things to the light.
That makes sense.
Okay?
Yeah.
Also, thinking about it, the moon has far more pull when it's in full moon than when it's in a new moon.
Right.
So that pull on the gravity of our planet and our water, and we're made up of a lot of water.
That's where you get lunatic from.
Right, exactly, because the energy from the moon is so intense at that point, and it has such an effect on our chemistry, our body, that people who don't know how to control themselves, that's where we get people just running wild. Believe me, when the moon is full, people at the police department know.
Oh, yeah.
Fire department know. Emergency rooms know. Psychiatrics know. Teachers know.
Yeah.
Kids will go wonky during a full moon.
Oh, yeah.
It's just sort of like, my
It's true.
God.
When they say it's a full moon and the crazy people come out. Yeah,
it is. It
true.
literally is. And again, you're right. That's where we get the name lunatic.
Yep.
From Luna, the moon.
Yep.
So, but that's why you utilize that particular system.
Okay.
So, you learned something.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I said. When the moon is getting smaller, you want to take things away. So,
Well,
just getting darker. And, yeah.
Right. But also the pull
Yeah.
from the gravity of the Earth is less as well. So that's why.
Yeah.
But and they understood a lot of that stuff because they felt it. They followed it. They unlike us, they had to live by instinct.
Yeah.
More primitive man could tell you what time of day it was than we could. Because we're so used to going, what time is it?
I can tell you when it's noon because there's no shadows.
Right. But so yeah, I mean that's pretty much why that is. I'm like looking at the time.
Yeah.
So
we're still good.
Yeah. But yeah, the voodoo doll is not particular to that. It has been utilized throughout the ages. Sympathetic magic is those two. And again, sympathetic goes into that. The sympathy, the connection is what it's looking at. Like versus like draws like. So when you do, say, like candle magic, you'll use a certain color.
Right.
You'll use certain stones, certain oils.
Right.
Because those are supposed to draw that type of energy. So you're looking at it as like draws like.
Right.
He keeps sniffing me. Because he's too cute and just wants to. And he's a muffin. Hey, just a little muffin.
I'm like, do you smell my cats on my shirt? Is that why you keep sniffing my shirt?
Yes, he's a good boy. So, what else about magic do you want to talk about, or do you want to, while we got a couple of more minutes?
Well, like I said, most of what I do is eclectic. So depending on what I'm trying to accomplish, I'll call on gods and goddesses from different pantheons and, whatever. So
you try to do some research behind it and look at, again, like what things are associated with what you're trying to pull in. Okay. So, and let me just say, a lot of people, there's different ways to spell magic. There's the I see at the end, and some people say, well, that's, magic like the sleight of hand. But then I've also seen it used as the CK for that as well. Because people, it's a different way to spell this word, but there is the magic of legerdemain.
Mm-hmm.
And that is essentially sleight of hand. That's the one where you get like David Copperfield.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Houdini
Houdini, right. Illusionists.
Mm-hmm.
It's sleight of hand, so, which I always thought was funny because Duman means, actually it's the left hand. And I just always thought it was funny because you hear this term mano y mano, which, what do you think it means?
1 and 1.
It's hand to hand. Hand and hand.
Yeah, 1 and 1. Yeah.
Mano is hand in Spanish.
Oh, okay. I don't speak Spanish.
No, it's close. Mano y mano means hand in hand. So 1 to 1.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I just always thought, a lot of people think it means man to man.
No.
And
I always thought it was 1 to 1.
And I'm just sort of like, oh my
like
God.
1 on 1, you know.
Yeah.
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 Head to head, whatever.
Yep. So, yes, you're a baby butt. But yeah, I am actually, a little side note here, I have started a kid's book based off of Coco Monkey Muffin. Yes, I'm going to make you into a story. So I've actually started working on that.
Cool.
So, but those two should never get, the sleight of hand illusion versus what we refer to as magic should not be confused.
Yeah, they're not.
They're very different,
totally
things.
different things.
Exactly. And again, when you pray, you're putting out energy. And that's, to me, what magic is all about. It is taking the energy within you and focusing it. And remember, energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed.
Yeah.
And you're using things to help you focus that energy when you use things like the candles and the oils and stuff. So certain scents, especially the sense of smell, is very strong in us and can bring memories.
Oh yeah.
Back.
Well, you know me with the scent of the ocean. And,
right. So
if someone could ever bottle that, oh, I'd be all over it.
what, dead fish?
No, the salty ocean air. Yeah.
Easy. I'm just
That's
joking.
only during red tide, man. Come on.
But yeah, so you know, magic, not sleight of hand, intent and energy. And maybe, you know, there's so many different traditions.
Yeah.
That maybe we could talk about Wicca.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. Let's do that next time. So
yeah, I
you
was
can
gonna say we'll have to do that next week.
No, we're not going to talk about it right now.
No.
Because that would take a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'll let you do that.
Okay.
Because I'm not a practicing Wicca.
Well, I don't really consider myself Wiccan. I'm just a witch.
Okay.
But I have, you know, recently I have learned a lot more about Wicca. I mean, I know it's a newer form of what I do, but it doesn't make it any less legitimate.
No, not at all.
So I mean, there are witches that are Wiccans, and there are Wiccans
that are not witches.
Not witches.
Right.
And I know it's crazy, but yeah.
Well, there are like Christians that are Catholic, but not all, or all Catholics are Christian, but not all Christians are Catholic.
Right.
So, you know, that's what it falls into.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll do that next week.
Erica.
Alrighty.
So we will see you then.
Yep.
I am awful red.
Well, you're wearing a red shirt.
That's
so.
true.
It's reflection.
It is.
Okay, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Yes.
So we're gonna go before we run out of time.
Bye.
See you in the next one.